Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys. And first of all, I just want to say big thank you to all of you guys yesterday on the video, leaving your World Cup suggestions, brilliant ideas there on the content that you'd like to see over these coming weeks. And we are going to be getting right into all of that stuff very soon on the channel. But just before we do dive into the World Cup, I thought today I would bring you some more Barça news, and particularly today on the transfer front. We're going to be talking about Inigo Martinez, Barca's defensive options, and what we may need to do in the short and the medium term on that one. And as well, we are going to be discussing the extremely exciting Youssoufa Moukoko, the brilliant young forward for Borussia Dormund, who's been linked to Barca. And there is lots to discuss about that young man. It is all coming your way today, so come on! And let's do this. Because if we do indeed kick off today by talking about Gerard Pique, and I don't know about you guys, but me personally, I'm still getting used to the fact here that Pique has played his last game as a Barcelona player. We're not going to see him again out there in a Barca shirt, and I think that is going to take a little bit of time to really sink in and get used to. You can see here a photo was taken yesterday at the Camp Nou of Gerard Pique with all of the titles that he's won as a Barcelona player. And I mean, just look at them. Look at the quantity there. I think the cameraman had to go and stand outside of the stadium just to get them all in the shot. Absolutely incredible there, and even more so given those are only the ones that he won with Barca. You could add there International as all the ones that he won as well with Spain. An incredible career there, and one that certainly Pique can and should be very proud of. But I think now the big question is that Pique's departure has been confirmed. It has been done. Going forward now into the January transfer window, the big question's going to be, do Barca need to replace him? And I think it's interesting given the fact that Pique didn't play much at all at the start of the season. Then maybe towards the end he actually ended up playing a few more games. And I think, do we need to replace him now? Or do we have enough quality and depth at centre-back for the second half of the season? Because given that everyone is fit and well and healthy, that of course is something that we haven't seen so far this season, so that's something already you need to take into account. We've got Araujo, Koundé, Christensen and Eric Garcia, so for their quality centre-back options. Now I think in an ideal world, if everybody was fit and going into, say, a big game, I think Xavi ideally would have Christensen alongside Araujo at centre-back, with most likely there Koundé in the right-back area. So it's very possible there that we could use 3 of our 4 centre-backs out there at once. That would leave Eric Garcia on the bench, but then of course you do have the option now that Marcos Alonso has played there. You've got Riyad as well, the youngster who made his debut against Osasuna. So the question would be, especially there the second half of the season, do we need more? Is there enough there in those options, and given the games that we have to come? Well, according to Xavi, I think looking at his words, I feel like he does maybe want a signing. You know, he said we're going to have to see what happens, but he said knowing now that Gerard is going, maybe we do need to evaluate the signing of a left-sided centre-back. So he's very specific there. He wants a left-sided one. We're going to analyse things. And I think the club at this stage, they're definitely not ruling out a move in the January window. Which brings us on to Inigo Martinez. Now, like Arnau Martinez, who we discussed in yesterday's video, this is also somebody who we were heavily linked with back in the summer. And to be fair, with Inigo Martinez, that has been the case right throughout his career. He has been linked to Barca so many times, and that appears to be once again the case here, already hearing rumours linking him with a move in January. Now, you can see why. On the face of it there, he fits the bill of what we need right now, what we're looking for. He is a natural left-sided centre-back, very comfortable in that area, highly experienced, of course, in La Liga, good with the ball at his feet, and I've always thought with Martinez that he would be very well suited to Barca. But I've got to be honest here, guys, and say I don't think there's any chance Athletic let him go in January. I do not see them doing that there, because although his contract expires in the summer, the clock is ticking, it's counting down, it's likely they're going to lose Inigo for free if they don't sell him in January. But as we've always said with Athletic here on the channel, they don't need the money. They're a club here who would actually really struggle, even if they sold Inigo Martinez, to replace him, given their transfer policy. So I don't think they're going to do that, even if it means that they lose him for free later. But I think that then leads us on to another question here today for you guys. Would you then go for Inigo Martinez in the summer? Would you actually line up this signing on a free transfer? Would you be happy to see him come in there to give us depth at centre-back? cover in that area. He would be 32 years old by the summer. Obviously, though, as a centre-back, you can play at a high level well into your 30s. He is a very good athlete, and I think this is undoubtedly a player the club are strongly looking at. We have been for a while now. This looks to me like a sort of Matia Almani signing there, looking at somebody who could bring quality, who could bring cover and depth, and if you could get him in, for instance, on quite low wages, on a free transfer, if you could pull off that kind of deal to add to our squad, it seems to me like a deal that Almani would be looking to do, and I would not be surprised at all to see him arrive in the summer. But speaking about free transfers, speaking about adding quality, let's talk now about pulling off some brilliant transfer business, and let's talk about Youssoufa Moukoko, who is the Borussia Dormund centre-forward there. We have seen links to Barça over these past few weeks, and he is somebody there who's come through Dortmund's youth setup. He made his debut in the first team as a 16-year-old. He's broken all sorts of records there for his age, for goal scoring, all of that kind of stuff. Now, last season, I think coming through, he found it a little bit difficult. Chances hard to come by playing there as Erling Haaland's understudy. He only scored 2 Bundesliga goals last season and only started 1 game, but he was certainly there trying to find his way, learning a lot every single day. And I think this season now, we've already started to see real progression with Moukoko. He's had a lot more opportunities now with Haaland's departure. He's already started 8 Bundesliga games this season. He's featured in all but 1 of Dortmund's league games, and I think he's repaid that faith. He already has 6 Bundesliga goals to his name, 3 assists as well, and you can see the confidence within him growing with every game, finding his feet, really promising signs indeed. And I think you add to that now, which only adds to the Moukoko factor, he's just been included in Germany's World Cup squad. I mean, at the age that he is now, 17 years old, to be off to the World Cup. He does turn 18 next weekend, but it's incredible, and what an opportunity for him this winter in Qatar. And here's the big thing, guys, because it's very, very interesting that this coming summer, his contract at Dortmund, it's going to expire. He is going to be available on a free transfer, and I'm sure plenty of the big clubs around Europe are on red alert, and Barça, they're definitely one of them. There is no doubt about that in my mind. This is somebody we track now for, I think, a lot of time, even coming through there. We've always been watching and looking at what Moukoko's been doing, and I think at this stage right now, Dortmund, they are trying to renew him. They want to keep him, of course they do, at the club, and Moukoko as well. He spent so much of his career at Dortmund that he would be open to the idea of extending. But there are some rumours right now in the German media. Apparently there, Moukoko may be looking for a contract around 7 million per season. That, though, apparently is the gross amount of the salary, meaning that we're looking at around, say, 3.5 million in net wages, which for an 18-year-old, that is a fairly significant wage. And I do still believe that would be there less than what we are paying some of our youngsters at the club right now. And of course, there will be that bit of a higher element because he'd be arriving on a free transfer. But I just think it's really interesting right now, guys. You can see why he is being linked to Barcelona. He is an extremely talented young forward. He's got a lot of characteristics that we'd like to see at the club in the way that he goes about his game. And I think more than that right now, I think at Barca, we may need to take a step like this. Because I think when we had Luis Suarez, for instance, at the club, and when he was, coming towards the end of his time, when he had a few years left, already we should have been planning ahead, and we didn't. We didn't sign any sort of young forward. We didn't have somebody there who we were then going to put faith in the future. But I think now we have Lewandowski. Of course, they're very happy, delighted with him now. But I think we should already have in our mind there a plan for the future. Somebody here who could come in and learn from Lewandowski, who could play with him, give him a bit of rest as well. And Moukoko, it's a very, very interesting link there. There's real talent there. It's somebody that I would certainly keep an eye on, especially at the World Cup. And with that contract expiring, please do let me know, guys. Would you be looking to make a move for him? Do you see him as a player who could play at Barca and excel in our team? If you've been watching him there during his time at Dortmund, let me know your analysis down below, and especially ahead of the summer transfer window. Definitely do keep a close eye on this young man, but please do, guys, let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below today, not only here on Moukoko, but also your thoughts on Inigo Martinez and Barca's defensive setup going into the second half of the season. Do we have enough there? Do we need to bring in anybody in January? And looking ahead then to the summer, what do you see taking shape at this club? There's plenty still that we could discuss here on the Barca front, but like I say, the World Cup videos will be coming for you shortly. I'm excited about that, and it should be an exciting tournament. I will see you soon, guys, for all of that to come. But I thank you here for watching today and enjoy the rest of your Saturday. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.